Welcome to Start Before You're Ready, the podcast that proves that you don't need to wait for the perfect moment to begin your journey towards better health and happiness. I'm your host, Kelly Young. Remember, the first step is often the hardest, but it's always worth taking. Hey guys, it's Kelly, and I'm back with an episode of Start Before You're Ready that I am really excited to record. This particular boot camper is somebody that I admire greatly, and I love having her in class, but I don't get to talk to her that much outside of class. And once you hear everything that's going on, you'll maybe understand why. But her name is Anneli Connell. She started with us in 2019, and it's interesting. I always like to look at the trajectory of our most successful students, and typically it's when they start slow. They don't come in doing 5-6 classes a week. And her husband, Chip, came to us. They were working out at a local gym, and they just were looking for something a little bit different. And they started coming to Saturday boot camp. And I was really excited about them coming because they are super athletic and fun and just a great addition to the boot camp team. And after a while, I think they were like interested in and I'll let Anneli elaborate on that, but interested in trying more. And fast forward to 2026, a lot has happened. They started off as just this cute young couple, and now they are this cute young couple with a 2.5-year-old baby boy, Lachlan. Anneli was able to work out through her entire pregnancy, which was incredible. I'm a huge proponent of that because that's something that I felt like really helped me, not only in my pregnancies, but in the after. So Anneli, I'm going to let you introduce yourself to the Start Before You're Ready community.
Thank you so much for having me. Yes, Anneli Connell, as she mentioned, and it's really been a pleasure to be a part of this community. I started out I was a big runner in college. I kind of caught on to that. We were looking for something different, and we saw all of the hats and the sweatshirts with the KBC branding on them throughout our local community. And actually, it was my husband, I don't think a lot of people know this, who suggested that we check it out, which I think, Kelly, you would love because they're always trying to get more guys in.
Especially guys like Chip.
Yeah. And it's kind of crazy that he even suggested the idea because Chip was very much like go to the gym for 2 hours and lift super heavy kind of dude. And he wanted something different. I think he actually wanted to get a little bit more cardio, more of that HIIT style workout in. And so we started going to Saturday boot camp. And for a while, I think like anybody, you're just trying to feel it out. Is this for real or not? Or is this some lame class? Because I'd been plenty lame classes on class. We caught on to it. Eventually we're like, hey, maybe we should go to the week classes too. These are really fun. And so here we are several years later, still members. Still going, and it's really been for me great for both physical and mental health, and of course we can get more into that, but I love it. Yeah.
Well, a little bit about Chip, and hopefully we'll get him on too. So you mentioned that you started working out in college, and Chip was also a college athlete. He played soccer at UVA, right?
Yep, D1.
Amazing. Well, he's a very athletic guy. And tell us about when you started working out, when you kind of discovered fitness.
Sure. So it's not that I didn't work out before that. It's just that that's really what I think was the turning point for me. I guess I was a freshman at the time in college, and I was in a sorority, and I had what's called like a big sister, or we call them a big. And my big is majorly into nutrition fitness. She got degrees in nutrition science and all of that. And I think to this day is doing all of that still. She would actually take me to the gym. And at the time I'd run like 2 miles. And she's a big runner, marathon runner. And she'd be like, okay, come on, we're going to get on the treadmill and you're just going to run 5 miles. And I was like, what? No, I can't do that.
5 miles.
She would stand next to me while I was on the treadmill, and she wouldn't let me get off until I was done.
Oh my gosh. But you were a natural runner. I thought you ran all through high school.
Yeah, but it was like short, comparatively speaking to now, it was short, like 1 or 2 miles. And she really would she had that coaching mentality, just like reminded me a lot of you. And we do keep in touch to this day, but she was really had that coaching mentality and would really like push me to go further than I thought I could. And I was amazed at what started to unfold. First, it was like I trained for a 5K, and then seeing that turned into a 10K, and then what's next? Half, and finally, what's next? Marathon. And for a while, that's like all I did, running. I did find, I was running 5-6 days a week. And the issue I started running into was overtraining issues. Plantar fasciitis, hamstring pulls, all that. And so I think, and for a long time I was experiencing that. And I think it wasn't until maybe KBC that I realized I really needed to look at what variety I need to start putting as, I'm no longer 18 years old and can just run 7 days a week.
Yeah. Fair. Yeah. Okay. So it started with running, really. Your fitness journey started with running. And then, so I just want to mention, Anneli went to Syracuse in New York, where my daughter is. And it was really funny. One day, there's 3 of you. I realized when Lindsay was making her decision, you, Tara, and then there's one more. I'm blanking right now. But anyway, I was like, look at these strong, successful, amazing women. I'm like, you should go to Syracuse, Lindsay. So yeah, you definitely had a little part in that decision. And I remember when we went to the bookstore when Lindsay was a freshman, we went to get Lachlan a little outfit. I had an outfit so my cousin, who's closer to your age, actually went to Syracuse, and my son Dalton, she got him this little jumpsuit. And he wore it like for his first birthday. It's like his first birthday picture, the Syracuse outfit. And of course, Lindsay was like, why didn't you put me in that? That would have been so cool. I'm like, sorry, Linz. I didn't think ahead to put you in like a boy's tracksuit.
I remember how excited I was that she was going to Syracuse. I remember I went and got her a shirt. I went on Etsy. And
yeah.
What can I get her? And I was like, wow, this is amazing.
Yeah. Well, it's funny how things come full circle. I love it. Now, how did you and Chip meet?
So we met on an app you may have heard of called Tinder.
Okay. I love it. I think this is our first Tinder story.
Now Tinder, I know, has some stigmas associated with it, whatever, but...
Oh, I don't know.
So Chip's picture, he was shirtless doing a mud run. One of those like Spartans or whatever. And I was like, my kind of guy right here.
That is so perfect.
Swipe right.
Oh my God.
He was literally covered in mud. So I guess that gives you the sense that I was looking for like a muscular, like kind of can roll in the mud type of guy. But, and then it turns out we were matched on this app. If you don't know how this app works, you get matched if they swipe right too. So he saw something in me and we started messaging. And soon after we started going on dates, and he was actually, you said a mile radius. He was in my absolute max, 50 miles away. So it was a bit difficult because we had to, we'd only see each other like once a week on the weekend or whatever. And he was down in Fredericksburg and I was up in Roslyn at the time. So we had to kind of go back and forth. Eventually we just started going down and packing up for the weekend. I'd spend the weekend down at his house and then we could switch the next weekend. And so that was like what we were doing for a while. And then eventually I convinced him that he should just move up to Northern Virginia. He was a little bit hesitant at the time because if anyone knows how much it costs to live in this area, it's a bit pricey, but I just said, hey, here's my compromise. You were paying this much rent anyway. Now I'll just pay it too. We'll pay it together. So now, yes, it's double, but we're both still paying what we were paying before.
Good job. Well, I am so glad you guys moved to Northern Virginia. And it's been, one of the things that's really fun in the last 7 years, I've been to your housewarming, I've been to your baby shower. So a lot has happened in the last 7 years for you and Chip. And it's been fun for some of us older people in the KVC community. We get to see like 10 years before. I know you're even younger than Chip, but yeah, it's her 15 years before or 20 years before. I don't know, Anneli, but we get to see it's
But you know what's funny about that too? I've had people ask me like, now I feel like your classes have really expanded to all different age people. But I think back when I started, it was a little bit more like folks a little bit older than myself. And so that just shows how much transformation we've seen in the last few years. Now you have people in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. And a couple people asked me, like you're a little bit on the younger side for these classes. And I said, I'm going to be honest. All you people are more fit than my friends. Like just goes to show what you can look like when you're in your 50s, etc. But it's come a long way.
No, for sure. Someone said, it was funny. I was working out with, we were at the studio last week or this week actually. And I made a comment to somebody that's older. I didn't say anything, but she was like, I gave someone a compliment and she's like, she's 15 years younger than me. I'm like, yeah, you should be better because you're older. Like, I don't think like that at all. I think if someone's older, then they should be better. Like my mindset is not because that's what I see. We celebrated Marjorie's 60th birthday. Freaking look at her.
Age is just but a number. It doesn't matter. You can you go to these long distance running races and you see like these 70-year-old dudes running like beating me. And I'm just like, this is just so inspiring. I think you can do it at any age. So.
Well, speaking of running, you have turned into an incredibly accomplished runner. You are very fast. I thought you had a history. I thought you were... I didn't even know, maybe you ran a little bit in college. I definitely figured you did track or some type of running in high school that you maybe didn't know about. And you mentioned when we were off camera that you think that the workouts, the strength training and the boot camps and the other style of workouts have really helped you with your running. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Absolutely. So I can carry you kind of through that journey a little bit. So as she mentioned previously, Chip and I were going to boot camps for a while as a couple. Thought we were so busy in the past. Man, did I get a reality check. And so then came along my pregnancy. I was very nervous because I was already very much into fitness and everything. I was hearing all kinds of things from different people, conflicting advice on what you should and shouldn't do, and wasn't sure if I would be able to continue running and fitness in all the way that I'd been doing it before. I've always been pretty resolute, and I decide I'm going to do something my way, and I'm going to do it that way regardless of what anybody else says. A little stubborn. So, but it served me well in many ways because I don't think I would have done half the things I've done to this point if I had listened to everybody else. So same thing goes for pregnancy. All these people telling me, well, you shouldn't really be running, you shouldn't really be working out like that. And I just kept going. I just said, my body will let me know when I need to slow down. And I ran a half marathon at 19 weeks pregnant. So I was still going. Wasn't really kicking in. And then I think the big shock came 20-week ultrasound. We found out that my son had a rare heart condition. And it was like, wow. And I'm going to be completely honest. There was a time when I thought it was my fault. And for a long time, I thought it was my fault that he had gotten that. Not related to fitness or anything, but just something I had done wrong in the pregnancy. Like, did I eat the wrong things? Did I not keep up my nutrition the right way? But anyway, so obviously I was experiencing some mental health, kind of things with that, right? And so I think fitness was my medicine because it really helped me to keep pushing through all this anxiety and these thoughts. And when I had to start going to the doctor 3 times a week and specialists and things to plan, plans A, B, C, D, and E, and it just things got so intense from there. I was in this pregnancy bliss to then this basically period of concern for a long time. And luckily then we were able to have him safely in DC. We actually delivered across the street from Children's because we didn't know how it would go. And we were lucky enough to bring him home for 2 months. And I think that for those of you who are not familiar with these heart conditions with really young babies, is that's really amazing that if you can bring your child home, the more time the better, because it's extremely risky when they're that little. So the fact that we were able to bring him home for 2 months, he was able to grow, put on a little bit of weight, was amazing. And then we went and he had open heart surgery. He had a large BSD. And I remember, I think I texted you, Kelly, and I said, I'm on the treadmill. He was in surgery, and I left the hospital to go to the gym, which probably sounds crazy. But that's just like, because that's my coping. I realized then that fitness is like my mental health coping mechanism. I was like, I'm not going to just sit here while he's getting this like surgery and stare at the wall. I'm going to go walk on the treadmill. And so I'm like walking on the treadmill just because I had so much nervous energy and I didn't know where to put it. And so really I did that, and then, killed an hour just like walking on the treadmill, just trying to like just stabilize. And then we got back and it was a success. But the whole thing was incredibly emotional journey. I've seen Chip cry twice in our marriage, and one time was when his grandmother passed away, and the second time was when the surgeon came in to let us know that the surgery was a success. And at that moment, for some reason, I wasn't crying. I don't know why. It hadn't hit me yet. He was. I was comforting him. For me, I had my moments later because unfortunately we weren't out of the woods yet. We had another week of basically he was going into what they call jet, but his heart rate was going like up and down, and we were in the cardiac ICU, and we slept there for 2 weeks. A lot of people like leave the hospital, go somewhere else, like Ronald McDonald. We actually just slept there on the couch in the chair for 2 weeks, and we didn't sleep. And I will say again, sounds crazy, but the entire time, every day I would leave, go run outside, run around the children's area, go work out. It was still like my coping mechanism. I had to get out there. Like I'd find a moment in between all the procedures that were happening to like just go and like run and do fitness. And I'm explaining all this in detail because like I want people to understand that like fitness is not just about your physical. Of course everybody wants to lose weight and everything, but for me, I'm at the point where I am actually happy with the way I look, and it isn't about losing weight right now. And I'm thankful that I've gotten to that point, but it's so much about when you go through these like life obstacles, just dealing with that. And it really makes you feel so good. And that's why I think now that even in the mornings when I haven't had the best night with him because he's been up like 2-3 times, I will still get up and work out, even though I'm tired, because I know how good I'm going to feel after. In about an hour. I'm really tired right now at 5:30, 5:45, because I didn't sleep that much last night, but I just feel so much better, and it's really going to get my day started.
I'm with you 100% with that. And you're not alone, and you're not wrong about exercising being a form of medication for anxiety and so many things. And I would never tell somebody you should exercise and not take your medication. But I know of so many people that have discovered on their own that, hey, if I do this, I'm okay. Like this is how I can soothe myself, or this is how I can regulate my nervous system. This is how I can. So it's great that you have that, and that you discovered that in college, and you've been able to use it in different ways throughout, obviously, some very stressful periods. And I'm glad, I'm really, really glad that you shared that, just because I know so many people, especially people in my industry. It's pretty much, we're all like, this helped us so much. Now we want to help other people, right? Like we felt like this was our secret sauce for having a happy, healthy life. And now we want to tell other people. Maybe it doesn't work that way for other people. Maybe it doesn't help them the same way. But I think they should try. That's what I always say. Like, if you feel terrible, like there's so many components and just all of the things that you said. You got outside, you moved your body, you took a break, removed yourself. It's just so much about what you said makes sense. And we're seeing a lot more now. I love, like, I see a lot of things like 5 things you can do to help your mental health. That's the list, right? So it's not made up. It's definitely real stuff. So it's great that you shared that. And I love also, one other thing that I wanted to say about you and Chip in particular is that this is something that you've done together, right? So you joined together. We don't have a lot of couples that are like a you and Chip, where usually it's like the wife starts and then the wife says, this is really good. It's not like, and then the husband might start. And that's what typically happens. But with you two, you came together. And even now, your mom said to me, she's like, I watch the baby on Saturday morning so Chip and Anneli can go together. And it just melts my heart, because that was something that Andrew and I had always had when our kids were little. Even though I was teaching, it still felt like our activity together. Because once you're in, you're incredibly busy woman with a demanding job. I know Chip has a demanding job. So, and you've a house and all of the demands of life and all of family and a toddler. And it's nice to have something that the two of you can do together outside of all that.
It absolutely is. I mean, like, the thing is, we don't always get out. We don't get very often out together, just the two of us, kid free. And we could do more of that. But to be honest, like, we don't want to leave him. We just love him. So let's just bring him with us. He'll come to dinner with us. It's fine. But and you're right, it's important to get the couple time too, though. And it really is, like, date night for us is what the chances that we get to come to boot camp. Like, it is, and it's like exciting when we get to do that, and we're very thankful, yes, to my mom that she is so supportive and willing to get up on Saturday morning and watch him so that we can go do that. So it's so great, and really, like, with the kind of pulling on the thread of what we were talking about before, and getting through busy lives and kind of what that can do for you. I mean, yes, now, like, I think for me, I've seen in the last year and a half, maybe 2 years, a bit of a transformation for myself in other areas. One thing has been, at one point I got back into drinking a little bit too much. And I don't know why it happened, honestly, because I didn't drink at all when I was pregnant. So it's like, I was thinking, oh, this is great. I'm like, this is a reset and I'm never going to drink again after this. But I don't know. I think, like, some of the adjusting to becoming a working mom with a demanding job and trying to figure out that with, like, having a kid, it definitely has taken me some time to figure that out. And so I think I developed this unhealthy habit where I realized that it was just a habit, that I would just get home from work, honestly drink a couple glasses of wine. I realized that maybe I was turning into a high functioning alcoholic. I only realized that, like, about maybe 5-6 months ago. And I think what really pushed me to change that was Saturday boot camp. Honestly, Kelly, you asking me, like, you keep coming back with this goal and basically, why isn't the goal advancing in a very nice way? Not like that. You weren't that direct, but you were kind of like, you would always ask us, what's your goal? And I kept coming back to the same goal, but not showing improvement. And I was like, you know what, I need to commit to something this year, 2026. And finally I committed to this, and I have cut back my drinking by like 75%. And it's like almost just like one here and there on the weekend now. And I am noticing, like, these amazing changes. And noticing new things that I want to do. For example, you mentioned earlier wanting to help other people. I'm realizing now that because I've really figured out myself, and I'm taking better care of myself in that, and that I'm noticing things that I didn't before, and that's like that I'm looking to mentor other people. So I was really excited because I got this award. I think I shared with you, Kelly. where I had made that a goal for this year, and then I was recognized for it, and it was just, it was amazing because it was like, wow, it's coming out. And this was at work where I was told, hey, you create this safe space for learning, and you're motivating other people. And now, like, I'm all of a sudden, like, I'm studying 3 languages on Duolingo, and like, feel like I have time for all these other things, and my energy levels are up, and I just feel so clear and level-headed, and like, what else can I do to get better? That, like, I don't know if I was just stuck in a rut or what, but like, I feel like this is the year of transformation for sure. So.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing all that, Anneli. I'm very proud of you for sharing that. And I know that will help other people. And just to go back a little bit about, because I think last week our podcast was about setting goals, and this I've noticed with so many people, if we stick with it and don't let it go and just keep making like edits. Because your first comment was, I need to cut back on drinking. That means nothing to me. I have that was like, and that's what I think I said to you. Because then, like, how's it going? And I'm like, it's not. You're like, it's not, because it doesn't mean anything. You needed something more specific. And I think we talked about like maybe creating some rules around it. Maybe, and I know, I know exactly what you're talking about, the habit. And you are, girl, you just admitted it. But so many moms in your same situation would do the same thing. You nipped it in the bud because you're like, this is more than I want to be drinking, and it's becoming a habit, and it's not how I want to feel. But I do think that's really important. And I don't know why this one's coming to mind, but Prasanna always said he wanted to work on meditation, or he like mindfulness, and he'd say it like, I feel like he almost said it for a year and he wasn't doing it. And I think that's the conversation. You're still saying it either. And this is actually in my book. It's something I believe very strongly in. Either take it off your list. Don't stop saying you're going to do it, or take very specific action, even if it's the smallest step. And I think that's what you did. I know that that's what he did. Now he's like, this week or last week when we were at Run Club, he's like, I'm going to up my meditation. So now it's like no longer talking about doing it. He for some reason, he knew that this was something that was going to be really valuable to him, just like you probably did about the drinking. And he didn't let it go. We kept chipping at it. But that is one of the things that, like, having accountability, right? Like, someone's going to ask me about this on Monday, or someone's just like at work or at anything that we're trying to do in life. One of the things that I think is most important is accountability. And I'm the first to say, people say, oh, you're disciplined, you're this, you don't do this. Not if I'm not accountable to somebody. I'm not anything. I need to report back to somebody that matters. So I think that that's a really great share, and I really appreciate you sharing it. I know you've had in the past you've had knee surgeries. How are your knees now?
I didn't end up having to have surgery, but I close several times. I think I certainly had hip issues and hamstring strains that it seemed like it was going to lead to that. And so and the plantar fasciitis thing has been a reoccurring issue too. And so I think like all of those injuries made me realize that I needed to do more in my routine, right? And so KBC was really one of the reasons why I thought that I could get that variety. And that's another thing I've learned over the past few years is it's been so great to learn all of these new things, because one of the things that I do work out on my own sometimes, and I have some fitness equipment in my garage, but I do realize that when I'm not coming to class, I start to get a little bored, and I'm kind of like, and then I go to class, and I ended up signing up for Nicole's class the other day, which, if Nicole's listening, it was awesome, and I'm still sore right now, and I think that was Tuesday, maybe, that I went to class. It was a strength class, and it kicked my butt, and my arms are killing me still.
It was actually, I think it was yesterday. No, Nicole subbed yesterday.
Or it was yesterday. Okay.
Oh no, Wednesday. Nicole subbed
Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday. Okay, yeah, you're right. It was Wednesday morning at 7:30 that I did that class, and I don't usually work out that late, but I actually had to work late the night before, so I was able to come in a little bit later to work that day and make it work. And I always try to make it work, no matter whatever pocket I have. I make it work these days, but Yeah, I think it just goes to show that then once I do sign up for class, I do these classes, I learn these new things that I can do. And I feel like there's always something new that you can do. And there's so many different things. And so it's just exciting to be able to have all that variety and learn like kind of how you can make things more interesting. So
I love that. And I'd love to mention this too. So you really are like a jack of all trades. I mean, as far as like, cause you also do virtual from your garage sometimes. I assume maybe.
I love that you have that option, because for me, it's like even just, it saves me so much time that I don't have to get in the car and drive to the studio in the morning when I'm rushing and I'm like trying to get Lachlan. As soon as I'm done working out, I'm getting him ready to get to daycare, and then I'm my work day and rushing from thing to thing.
Yeah, no, I love it.
Just having the flexibility to get those morning workouts in from my garage. And I still feel connected to people in a sense.
Yes.
Because all the instructors are very engaging with us garage workouters.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you've got your whole setup. You've got you've got everything. So that's really nice too.
Yeah. It's great.
It's great to have an area where everything is set up. So it's like not like, oh, I gotta go. You know, it's like you just go out and do you do it on your phone, or do you have a computer, or do you have a laptop out there? How do you do it?
So I will kind of actually create little workouts for myself. I'll think about it the night before and like, what am I trying to hit the next day? If it's a day that I'm not doing your class, and then And then often what ends up happening is I go to your classes, and the next time I work out, I'm taking things. What did we do in class? And taking notes, like what can I pull back to my workout if I'm not able to get to a time that you're offering that day, because I got to squeeze it in at a weird time. But I bring the phone out, play music. Sometimes it's rowing, and it's a pull day or a push day, and trying to kind of create all kinds of variety between the cardio and the various training stuff you can do. And it's fun to kind of get that. I just feel like I'm back in gym class. I always loved gym class, maybe just because I think I've always been an active person, but
not surprised.
It feels like an adventure to put something together that you can do a bunch of different things, like jump over something and climb under something. And we've got Lachlan in these little soccer classes now. He's actually he's doing swimming and soccer. And it's kind of like that. Like when we watch these little kids, they like have them climb into a tunnel and jump over something and jump through hoops. And it's like an obstacle course. And it like kind of brings me back to being a kid. But honestly, like you watch what they're doing in class, and it's very athletic. So it's like, oh, we can be doing that as adults. We should be doing more of this.
It's amazing. Yes, yes. I love that. And it is play. I mean, in my opinion, I look at, especially certain workouts are just, you've got a job to do and you got 45 minutes to do it, and it doesn't feel as playful. But like, I consider cardio play. Like, I don't care what people do. I'm like, have fun, move, get your heart rate up, play, move. Like, I really like people to feel a little less regimented when my favorite thing is just cardio. It's just cardio. It's just cardio.
For me, it's really hard to imagine that people don't work out, because it's so much fun for me. Like there's so many different things you can do. So I love it.
I love that. Well, okay. So what is the biggest change you've noticed in yourself since joining?
Biggest change. I mean, really, I think it goes back to two things. One is how I used to always get injured when I was running 6-7 days a week. And now, because I have this variety, I'm really incorporating these strength workouts in between. There's such a variety. Like I've been to the yoga class, I've been to the very strength focused classes, and then you have more of like a little bit of everything in a class. And but I think like in general, now that I'm doing those sort of every other day, like I don't get injured anymore. It's like I'm older now. I was getting injured all the time when I was in my 20s, and now I'm in my 30s and I'm not getting injured. And it's amazing. I'm much stronger, I think.
You are much stronger. You are much stronger and more balanced than when you started. You're always fit. You never came to us deconditioned, but we've definitely done a great job of kind of filling in the gaps. And you had it can be dangerous when you're when you're at a really high level with certain things and not paying attention to some other things, I think we kind of balanced you out, and that's why you're not getting injured.
Absolutely. Yeah, you definitely. And I think there's that. And then some of what we talked about earlier, but being in the community and having sort of all these uplifting people around you motivating you makes you want to then motivate other people. And when I talked about kind of the year of transformation thing, it's even just being around all these other people that are always wanting to do that. You have some members in particular who are just really good at pushing you and checking in with you. And it's like what goes around comes around. Now it's made me think more about how can I better connect with people and not just like be me going to class. And that has bled into my job, my day job. And I'm starting to really get into, I think I told you, public speaking and how can I become more of like a TED talker. And it's definitely a work in progress, but I've been just trying to figure out what are ways that I can reach people and help them and come past myself.
That's incredible. That's just solid gold right there. Like, I hear what you're saying. I feel like when you feel better in your own life, and then it's like, okay, now you want to get back and give out to other people, especially when you've struggled a little bit, maybe like you mentioned that you were mental health and that you were using alcohol to cope. And now it's like, okay, I've kind of figured this out. I want other people that maybe have you, just like your sorority sister helped you in your freshman year of college, stood next to you on that treadmill. I mean, it's just such a great thing when people want to get back like that. What would you say I want to maybe talk about nutrition a little bit with you, Anneli, because you actually have come a really long way. I mean, most people, when I first started in the fitness industry, all I heard was ever since I had a baby, I can't lose the weight. Da, 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 da. You were the exact opposite. You're smaller now than you ever were. And I'm curious, like what you kind of dialed in, or how. I'm sure nursing helped right after you had him. But do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I think it's important to talk about that, because I did have some maybe problems on the opposite side of things. So when I was in college, I don't know if I've ever told you this, Kelly, but since I, for some reason, decided I'm going to be really vulnerable on this episode and to share, I actually was not eating enough. I think I got to the point in college where I got so dialed into the running thing that I was like realizing that I was super fatigued every day and whatnot. Eating like 1,600 calories or something, right? And I was not eating enough, and I had other things happen because of that. And like to the point where I went and saw a nutritionist, was like, what is going on? The nutritionist had no idea what to tell me, just told me to eat healthy. And I was like, no, you don't understand. I do eat healthy. It's funny. I ended up reading a book by Nancy Clark, and it was like her nutrition. I don't remember what it was called. Highly recommend it though if anyone wants to learn more about nutrition. But her book is what did it for me. I read that book and I thought, why am I experiencing so many issues with fatigue and everything? Like I'm so dedicated and everything. And her book taught me about macros. and I learned that I was eating way too little. And I needed to think about how to rebalance things. Turns out that eating 500 more calories per day was what did it for me. So and it was nerve wracking because I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to like gain a bunch of weight and I'm going to be fat, but it wasn't at all. In fact, I actually didn't go up any sizes at all. I just gained back my energy and started putting on muscle. Is that, and then that's continued to transform with this. And then honestly, another thing, so Chip did Amy's, what was it, Clean and Shred, where he was bringing home recipes from that, like making like sweet potato pancakes and like tuna cakes and stuff. And he started making this stuff, and I was like, can you make that for me too? So we learned a lot of ways to make food more interesting rather than just our tuna cans. We eat a lot of tuna. In like, okay, you can eat more than just the tuna can. You can make these yummy tuna cakes, and you can put this yogurt sauce on them. And so definitely recommend Amy's nutrition classes if anyone wants some more variety in their diet, because it can get boring after a while. And I think with me with pregnancy too, I again started experiencing that issue where when you mentioned, when I was nursing, I wasn't eating enough again. And I think I went down a size to the point where I think I was like going backwards, and I was like seeing myself back at that time. And again, I thought, well, what I would have done, I'm going to increase 500 calories per day. And I was up to like 2,500 calories a day or something. And I was like, oh yeah, I feel better again. So I think it's just, I guess what's my point here is that I think with nutrition, it's hard, right? Like there's a balance you have to strike, because you can go too much in one way or the other. And everybody has their struggle. Like some people obviously eat too much of the bad stuff and put on the weight, but you can definitely go too far in the other direction and then experience things that are not good for you. And you just really need to figure out what makes sense as far as how much protein you really need to get. I'm very protein focused, but I have to be carb focused too because I'm a runner. But again, I'm very much a proponent of the healthy carbs, and I love my sweet potatoes and my oatmeal, making my own oatmeal, not like the instant oatmeal with all the sugar added, but just like all the healthy carbs and figuring out like the stuff that makes sense, that makes me feel good and makes me feel strong, but isn't too much one way or the other.
I love that. So good. So good. You're such a great example. Can you think of a time in your life when you started before you were ready?
Absolutely. I think, honestly, it was when I became pregnant and I thought I had everything dialed in and just life figured out, everything scheduled, very busy, perfectly. All that was perfect, right? And then I got pregnant and it really threw me for a loop for a second, except of course I'm very happy now and grateful, but like, wow, what is life going to look like now, right? And so I had to figure that out. And as I had mentioned, those challenges that we also experienced earlier, it wasn't even a normal pregnancy for me. And we had to look, how can we get through all of these challenges and then figure out what life looks like again. And I think that now I figured it out, took some time, but fitness and nutrition for me, as long as I'm doing that, it's sort of like my medicine to make me feel so good and confident that then I can go about my really busy day feeling good about myself and then hopefully helping others.
I love that. I love that. Well, you are such a great example of so many things. And I'm just so grateful that you found this community and have embraced all it has to offer. One thing that you did in the very beginning that I do want to mention is that you guys kind of put yourself out there. You didn't know anybody. You had zero connections. You weren't in the same schools you didn't even really live in the neighborhood. Now you moved since you started, but you were like, if there was an event outside of class, you guys showed up and you connected with people. And I just think that has made a huge difference. And I always encourage people to do that. But you are just such a good example of benefiting from being part of an amazing community and giving back to the community too. Because I know we're going to get new moms that are coming, and just like Kathy Curtin did for you, I remember her talking to you when you were pregnant about her working out throughout her pregnancies. And now you'll be able to do that for some of our new people coming in. Thank you so much for being on today. It was so fun to talk to you. I really enjoyed getting to know more about you, and I appreciate how much you were willing to share. I think this was an incredibly helpful podcast, and I know that certain people listening will resonate with a lot of what you said.
Always a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Start Before You're Ready. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, leave a review, and share with a friend who might need a little motivation. Ready to start your own journey? Check out our workouts and nutrition coaching programs at kellysbootcamp.net. You can choose from in-person sessions or virtual programs. Set up a complimentary coaching session to get started. Follow along with me and the show on social media at Kellys_bootcamp. Until next time, this is Kelly Young reminding you that the best time to start is always now.